In high school they were just like, don't try to do college. Like, college, there's a lot of work, a lot of books, you recently came to this country, maybe you should try, manual labor, more hands-on approaches to things. At the time, I didn't realize that was, in a way, a stereotype, that all Latino people go into manual labor, even though, I never picked up a hammer. So how the hell can you judge me saying that I'll be good at construction? One of the advisors here said, you are a great reporter, you're good at getting all the things, all the stories, you're really good at getting the details, but you seriously lack a grasp of the English language. I think you should read more. Magazines, books, newspapers. I seriously, it makes no sense to me that at this level I'm still being judged for a tiny, maybe a tiny ESL mistake, or a tiny colloquialism that's oh, you're terrible.
Generally, I teach that journalism 6th cultural diversity in U.S. journalism, and I have a lot of ESL students come through. I don't think that it has really any effect on their performance in that particular class. I've definitely had students ask me how it'll affect their grade if they don't do well in grammar, but most of those students take the initiative to go get help somewhere else. And I actually find that ESL students do better in grammar than American students do, because they know the formal grammar better than we do.
But I've always had an interest in Latino issues, politics, and frankly that's not being addressed here in English broadcasting or newspapers.
We know from at least what these American Society of News Editors tracks, and has tracked since 1978, that the number of reporters of color in the mainstream broad audience media continues to decrease on an annual basis. And so, although there is no empirical evidence, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence, and a lot of unhappy communities say that their communities are not being covered because people don't understand those communities. And unfortunately, the news is still run by white males who are of an older generation and who have a certain perspective on what is important. And that is not necessarily the same, those are not the same issues that affect communities of color. So if you look at the San Francisco Chronicle, I'd like to now see how many Asian American reporters, when 35% of San Francisco is Chinese American. That's not even counting the rest of the different Asian American population. So how can something like the San Francisco Chronicle really cover a community when they don't necessarily even know what's going on in that community? And you don't have to be of a particular group to cover a particular group, but you get a very different story if you do.
It really sucks, and it's no matter how hard you triumph or how the accomplishments you make. I was the valedictorian of my high school. I was the valedictorian of my community college. I gave the graduation speech. No matter how many achievements I excel at, I will still be boxed into that category of he's a foreigner, he's a Latino, he needs help. And it's degrading, even to this day. Yes, I seriously ask myself, how long can I keep going with the foreigner thing? Half of my life spent here in the States. When does it end?